What's going on, fellow growers? Andrew from Tailwaggin Farms. It's mid-March and today all our spring flowers are popping. So I want to take you on a quick garden tour, show you what we have going on around the yard. So thanks for coming along. We're going to start up in this bed right here next to the area the dogs go out. We have a beautiful Yoshino cherry in full bloom right now. It is just buzzing full of bees, honeybees everywhere. It's awesome. It's getting us excited for us getting bees this week. In this bed here we have a bunch of different types of yarrow. Kim has anemones planted and a bunch of different kinds of pansies. I believe these are called antique shades, or nature shades antique. Onto this next bed next to our driveway where we have a dormant crepe myrtle. In this bed, Kim has a bunch of hellebores. Anna's red and black onyx are over here. The peonies are just starting to come up a little bit. She has dusty millers, which are supposed to be annuals in our zones. Those are 3 years old though. Some columbine, and the sedum is really leafing out nicely now. It's getting very nice foliage. Hopefully it'll be flowering soon. On to our tiny rose bed here. We have a Charles Darwin rose in the middle. That has some sentimental meaning to us. Me and Kim met thanks to Charles Darwin. But we also have some sort of tulip. These are mini tulips. Kim could not remember the name of it. More pansies. Coming around, we have lots of yarrow that's just starting to bud out for flowering. And we have some snapdragons that are really growing in size. She's also got some anemones sprinkled in here, and pretty soon some dahlias will be coming up in this bed as well. Beautiful crabapple has just started opening up here in front of the house. It looks lovely. It is buzzing with bees. It's great. Here in front of the house, got some hellebores by the front entrance. Our azaleas are getting ready to start blooming out here very shortly. The buds are starting to swell on the flowers. Our hydrangeas are just starting to really leaf out. Got some mums, a camellia that's pretty much done flowering for the season. Hostas are actually coming up, daylilies. We have some catmint. Irises are going crazy back there. And another little hydrangea. We also keep stuff along this wall here because there's a nice microclimate here, so things stay a lot warmer over here in the wintertime. So we're actually able to keep plants like Peruvian lilies out, and they're blooming right now when we normally wouldn't be able to in this zone. So as we continue down, walking towards the back of the house, you can see the blueberries. There are honeybees and bumblebees everywhere in these blueberry bushes, hopefully making us a huge harvest for this year. Over here next to the driveway, we have a hellebore bed with some Anna's red over in the corner over there. I believe these are pink frost hellebores in the middle. Got some other ones coming up towards the end. Walking along the patio here, we have a Caribbean breeze rose in a pot. Freshly weeded bed. It's something that's pretty rare to see around here. We both do work full-time jobs, so weeding is further down on the list. Here in our what we call the kidney bed, we have our knockout roses starting to really leaf out. Bunch more pansies. I believe Kim started 8 trays of pansies this year, so around 600 plants total. Irises, we have a dahlia coming up underneath the cage there. All of our daffodils that are spent at the moment, all these daffodils here were King Alfred improved, and they're just your typical standard yellow daffodil. Just got some lamb ear in this bed, and the gladiolas are coming up, and they have since January, which is a little early for them. The next stop on our tour is going to be inside the heated greenhouse. Gonna need a little water in here today, but we have tons of seedlings, lots of flowers. A bunch of our citrus is in here. We have a pineapple over in the corner. Yeah, lots of citrus. We have lemons, limes, kelmodins, satsumas. Got a whole bunch of pepper plants, getting bigger. Geraniums, and some Mexican oregano and pineapple sage. Man, it's hot in there today. It's about 95 degrees in the greenhouse. I have to set up the fan, get some air moving in there. These raised beds next to the greenhouse. Right now we have the Spring Bonanza daffodil mix. This is my absolute favorite type. I have no idea what it's called. Leave it down in the comments if anybody can tell me what type of daffodil that is. It smells heavenly. It's just super sweet, super vanilla. Such a nice daffodil. These pansies right here are Super Beaconsfield from Baker Creek, and they are one of our favorites that we grow. So I am the reason we have so many daffodils here on our property. I love them. I think they're beautiful. I love the varieties. They smell amazing. So I kind of plant them everywhere, and it becomes a little of a pain waiting for them to all die off, but just look at this bed here. So many beautiful different varieties. Singles, doubles, whites, oranges. It's absolutely beautiful. Inside the middle, we have a mass planting of mulberry shades pansies. And you can also see our gladiolas starting to come up, and some of our large Asiatic lilies. This bed over here we call our shade bed. I also have a bunch of different daffodils coming up in here. A lot of them are past their prime. We have ferns as well. And these are, I believe they're English bluebells that should be blooming out soon. And we have some type of plant that we are not sure what it is, but it has beautiful little purple flowers that'll be coming up in a couple of months. That's the foliage. If anybody knows, please let us know. Also have some daylilies. Our hostas are starting to push through, and ferns are so neat. Prehistoric looking things. I mean, brings you right back to the dinosaurs. In front of the hoop house this year, I had my kind of biggest daffodil craziness. I planted 150 daffodil bulbs on each raised bed over here. 50 Ehrlichers, 50 Blushing Ladies, and 50 King Alfred improved. These are the Ehrlichers, and they are by far the most fragrant daffodil I have ever encountered. They're beautiful, have great vase life, and they last absolutely forever. These have been in bloom for probably 3 weeks now. The smell, you can smell them all over the yard. There's a little closer look at a Blushing Lady. And you can kind of see the King Alfreds in the back there. But I couldn't be happier with this bed. The only thing is, the scent is almost overpowering. We're gonna take a quick walk through the hoop house. I'll give you a very quick tour. It's pretty warm in there, so don't wanna be sticking around in there too long. As we walk in, got our green stalk with strawberries. Got one that's should be ripe in the next day or two. This row along the wall is full of ranunculus and lisianthus. About 10% of our lisianthus we overwintered last year, and they are still surviving. In the second row here, we have seedlings that are hardening off out here. Looks like we got cosmos, a bunch of rudbeckia, a whole bunch of different stuff. It's typically we move all of our seedlings out here to finish hardening off after they're in the heated greenhouse. As we walk along this way, we have a row of lettuce over up against the wall there. A couple different varieties. We have some beets, pak choy, got some carrots, green onions, sprouting broccoli, kale, chard, more beets. That's celeriac right there. Got some onions that are not super happy in here. More ranunculus. more chard, a couple more strawberry plants, whole bunch of radishes, some full-grown celeriac that's been in here for a while that's ready to harvest, some more green onions that are bolting, a couple of Salanova lettuces, some mixed brassicas over here, and a green stalk that is full of herbs. Up here is Kim's cut flower area. It doesn't look like much right now, but in the summertime, it's gonna be absolutely beautiful. We got some roses on the edge here, some daffodils that are already past their peak. Once we do some weeding, there's poppies and agastache in here. Underneath the blue tarps is actually our dahlias. We cover them with leaves, and then the blue tarps to keep them drier. We have really wet winters here, so underneath the white row covers, these guys here, we actually doing a little experiment to overwinter Gerber daisies, and we actually have some that are flowering in there right now. A little Y right there. We ended up losing one of our roosters this week. He's just an old chicken. Sad to see him go, but he'll be up here in the cut flower area making us beautiful flowers. So we thought that was a good way to remember him. Over at this end of the cut flower garden, we're actually gonna have our beehive set up. It's that'll be a future video on where to set up your beehive and actually placing the bees into it later this week, hopefully. So we have roses over here, some grasses, and a whole bunch of gladiolas that'll be coming up through here. And also the entrance to my favorite part of the yard. So here we are in the vegetable garden. This is my baby. These are all our raised beds that we use. They're from Vago Garden. They're nice, expensive, but they're nice and they've been holding up pretty well. I'll just give you a quick run through on what's in each bed as I walk by them. Here we got some lacinato kale, some carrots that have overwintered. This bed right here is our later planted garlic. This was Music Red, I believe it was, from Johnny's. We received it in late October. That's when we planted it. Some barrage, cilantro, there's a couple of green onions in there, and I just planted a row of cilantro seeds in here. These are carrots that we overwintered. We have a couple of turnips and some beets. These carrots have been absolutely amazing this year and super delicious. Don't mind my piles of weeds. I've been getting out here trying to weed. This is an herb bed. Got a nice big rosemary bush, some oregano. There's a lavender. We have some chives and a perennial onion that's bolting right now. We have some snow peas. Got some broccoli in the middle and some pak choi. Everything needs a little bit of water. It's early in the season, but we're already fighting fire ants. This bed is some of our short day onions and our leeks. The leeks are the darker ones. This is our first year having any success with leeks, and that's pretty exciting. They're delicious. We have our intermediate day onions in here. Our onions are, when they bulb, is controlled by day length, and we're kind of right on the border between intermediate and short day. We have some kale that's going to seed. The chickens will really enjoy that. This bed right here is our russet potatoes, yes, and they are just starting to break the surface now. We planted those about a week and a half ago. Here's our Norcota red potatoes. They're coming up. They got a little bit of cold damage. We might have gotten just a touch of frost here the other night. In the tall beds over here, we have a whole bunch of carrots. So we got Napoli carrots, Mokum carrots. I just planted a row of radishes in the middle there. We have some spinach coming up right here. Then a whole bunch of beets that I definitely need to thin out. Need to space them out to about an inch or two apart, but just haven't gotten around to it. Coming this way, we have, I like to stick stuff at the edges of my beds. Those are all leeks. We have the glow stick sunrise mix carrots right here. I just planted some pak choi seeds along the very edge. Some rough looking cilantro, whole bunch of lettuces, and some kohlrabi mixed in there. If we come down this way, we have our overwintered kale that is starting to go to seed. Got a couple of heads of lettuce hidden in here that are really pretty looking. Some spinach. This was our early planted garlic. This was started in the beginning of, I believe, end of September. And I started this garlic when I saw garlic that I left in the bed by accident starting to come up last year. So I said, I'm gonna follow nature's cue, and I might have started it a little early. We'll see. Coming this way, got some red giant mustard, a whole bunch of different brassicas, some cauliflower, some kales, some cabbages. In this bed, over here, got some herbs. We got a couple little celeries that overwintered, just kind of a surprise. Some really nice looking thyme. I just gave this parsley a massive haircut to dry. I had an entire dehydrator full of parsley, 9 trays. This bed right here, that's looking a little rough, but there is snap peas in here and a couple of kales around the edge. Need to get out here and water. Looks like there might be a nutrient issue as well. Not really sure what's going on with this bed. And then coming over to the corner of the garden, don't mind my shadow, but we have some asparagus that's starting to come up very nicely. So as I walk by the garden area here, we have blackberries, blueberries, some raspberries, more blackberries, a whole bunch of hydrangeas in this weedy area over here. Inside the dog's area that we affectionately call the rage cage, we have elderberries, some blueberries, got 2 peach trees, or sorry, 2 pear trees. There's a Moonglow and a Bradford. Been fighting fire blight on both of them, but I'm staying on top of it. Then as we come out this way, we have gardenias, some Martha Stewart daffodils, a lilac, rhododendron, and a butterfly bush. Turning the other way, we have some grapevines. These are from Ison's. A couple different varieties of muscadine grapes. Got pomegranate, apple tree that is really rough shape. This tarped off area right here is actually going to be my tomato bed. We have a red delicious apple that is just starting to leaf out. Hopefully we'll get some flower blooms. And continuing this way, looking back towards the daffodil bed and the hoop house, got a kiwi vine in the middle that's never really produced anything. Got another pomegranate on the corner over here. Along that fence line, we have roses that are just starting to bud out, and we have a new flower bed that we're working on putting in right here with some daffodils and a Honeycrisp apple in the middle. Also, we have a brown turkey fig that has been a heck of a producer for us. We got the chickens. Say hello, chickens. Thank you for being quiet while I'm doing this. Got an Italian honey fig, a Jana Gold apple that is just starting to bloom. As I walk on this side of the trench, we have a Chicago hardy fig. This some ornamental grasses with verbena, our plum tree. Not exactly sure what varieties this is. It's either a Santa Rosa or a Methley, and it's just finishing out flowering. Got our little bridge that'll be replaced here shortly. So from this side of the trench, we have a Chinese 9-bark. We continue along. This is our Japanese themed area. We have coral bark, Japanese maple. We have another Japanese maple right there. Over in this area is our shade garden. We have some astilbes that are starting to come up, transcantias, heucheras, hostas, painted ferns, all sorts of stuff that's just starting to come alive. What is this one that's flowering? Comfrey that is just starting to flower. So we have our Japanese maple just starting to leaf out, some Korean feather top or feather reed grass, and some hellebores that are coming up. And as we walk along this way, I got my trench project. I'm working on widening it. We have a couple of Montmorency cherries. We have some flowering quinces. This whole area is going to look way different by the end of the summer, hopefully. Another cherry tree. And we have a plum tree right here that is past full bloom. So hopefully it got pollinated and we'll get some more plums this year. 2 years ago, we had a harvest of almost 60 pounds from our 2 little trees. Love when these cherry trees are in full bloom. They just look so beautiful. Well, fellow growers, thanks for coming out to Tailwaggin Farms today. I hope you enjoyed our tour around at the yard and got to see some of the stuff that we have blooming here at the beginning of spring. Hopefully your spring is going as well as ours is down here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw it down in the comments, any plant ideas you have for us, or if you have any questions or things you think we should grow. So hope you have a wonderful day and happy growing.